So we go from writing for the Tiki Room to writing for the New York World's Fair for narration. Marty, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Ford Magic Skyway Pavilion and writing the narration for Walt?
Yeah, actually, that was, when I look back on it, the World's Fair was really quite an amazing time, because basically, except for the Tiki Room, which Walt dropped on us in the middle of all this, we abandoned Disneyland and exclusively basically worked on the 4 shows for the World's Fair. The Magic Skyway for Ford Motor Company, Carousel Progress for GE, and the Lincoln Show, and a little ditty that Dick and Bob wrote for a little other show that we'll talk about later. I don't want to mention the name because I know there's a certain reaction to that song, plus and minus. But I had John Hench and I spent 3 weeks traveling around the country and figuring out how to interpret what Ford Motor Company wanted to do in their pavilion. And one of the things was the ride itself, which took you from yesterday, the invention of the wheel, to the dinosaurs, which came back to Disneyland, and then a look at the future. And the first year of the fair, I used a narrator. Second year, Henry Ford asked if Walt would do the narration, and he agreed to do it. And it was an interesting session. I think you have a little example of it, right?
I think so. Let's see if we can play it, please.
And now the Magic Skyway becomes a highway in the sky, carrying you across the boundless night and out into time and space. Is that any better, Marty? Is that any better, Marty?
Yes, I think that was.
This goes on to another statement, doesn't it?
Yes,
Yeah. Right now, we're leaving the world of today behind. So if your imagination is ready, here we go. I think that's a better take, don't you? Yeah. Want to try a clean one? A little confused. I don't know when you cut in there, fellas. I mean, when I stop. Well, I meant if I turn this way, I'd cut, yeah. You send this to Ford and you edit it, Marty.
I'll take it back.
Well, you're going to edit it, though.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
That's not all the words he used. The first group was he blamed me for the spelling of the dinosaurs, Stegosaurus and Tyrannosaurus, and he says, "Are you sure these are spelled right?" And I said, "Yes, Walter, right out of the dictionary." He said, "I can't pronounce them exactly." First of all, he had a bad cough that morning, and so it was an interesting morning.
Was he intimidating at all for you to work with? When he gave you notes or asked you questions like that?
You know, it depended upon what it was for. For example, the film, Walt's film about Walt Disney World and Epcot, I spent two sessions with him in his office, just the 2 of us, and I had 7 pages of notes from those meetings. And when I went to write the script, I said, "It's here." I mean, I just looked at what he had said, and it was so easy to write. Some other things, most of it, I got to a point where I would write it without even talking to him, for something souvenir for Disneyland, publications that we did, annual report things that we did, and then I'd get my notes back from him. So he trusted me, I think, by that time. Early stuff, of course, I was a kid, and I think, the first time I wrote for him specifically, I was still in my 20s, and so, yeah, I was a little intimidated from time to time. But you know what? He didn't leave you intimidated. He built on everything. So whatever notes you got, whatever discussion you had with him, it was building the idea and clarifying it if he wanted a different take on it.